It is June. It is Men's Health Month. It is a very happy Pride Month. And with all my pride, y'all know I'm like, I just joke with people. I'm like, yeah, y'all, I'm like super gay on in June and October because I have that piece of intersectionality that many of y'all don't know. It's all about the things we can see and can't see. So with pride, happy Pride to all my LGBTQIA plus brethren and sisters, everything in between. I am your host, Sequoia Database Glenn, and we are going to talk more to the men. And y'all, I've been hearing all the feedback. It's like, when are we going to do something about with pride? So I will have that. Maybe October, we'll revisit that. But this time, what we wanted to do is continue our conversation with Black men about things that impact them the most. If you all remember last year, we had a great topic on the bleeding Black men in marketing. One of those gentlemen are coming back here today, and we have a new one. So he's not new to the industry. He's very seasoned over there. I see him in the backstage giggling, but we have some great brothers that they mean the world to me and the BMC. So I hope y'all enjoy them. But first, we're going to do some announcements, just like the Southern Baptist Church, because I know this conversation is going to take us exactly to the 1 p.m. Eastern mark. So I'm going to go ahead and get these announcements out the way. So first, I have a commercial for y'all. Who knew we was going to do commercials on here? But like I told y'all a couple months ago, been working on something very special, which is our first merchandise product, which is our journal and other shit for the 2022 and 2023 season of If You Know, You Know. And what I'm really proud of with this one, to segue after you'll see him after the commercial, because I want to make sure y'all pay attention. But we have one of our previous speakers, and he has his own full page in the journal, and it says no representation leads to misinterpretation of what we would bring to the table. So if you know, you know. Our brother Keni Thacker of 100 Roses from Concrete said that in season 1, episode in June with marketing's leading men, so Black men. So I hope y'all enjoy that. If you get the journal, you will see it for your August entry, and these are going to be crucial to our relationship building. So we had someone that tried it out for us, because I know y'all hear me talking about it and it's like, girl, it's your product, we know you like it, but let's see what someone else said about this.
Yes, the journals are available, and I am so excited. Thank you to Sequoia and her leadership for getting this completed. And so let's actually do the unboxing. So it's fresh off the press, so let's see what's inside. And this is some solid tape, so you know that your package is secure. Ooh. And look at this. This is the journal and other shit. So it says, welcome to your journal. You put your name there. And then here we are, start in November. So it gives you a couple of months. So order this and get this ready, okay? I love the pages. They're very, very nice. They're very, very nice. So this is the journal, okay? Make sure you go get it at blackmarketerscoalition.org. And also, happy Pride Month.
Isn't she lovely, y'all? That is our wonderful Bianca. If y'all know, y'all know Bianca rocks with us forever. So definitely go get the journal. I'm so thankful for the review. And it really was a real review, y'all. She went in like a real customer on our site, and she actually did that for us. And last announcement for me is that our show is sponsored by the lovely Level 8 agency. So please check them out on their website as well. So without further ado, let me introduce these brothers. All right, y'all. So first we have Keni Thacker, aka Growth. He is just everything. How you feeling, my brother?
I'm good. I'm on the mend, but I'm good. Always happy to be here with Black Marketers Coalition. It's my second rose garden next to the original rose garden. But it's always good to be here amongst good people, and y'all let me talk my shit. So that's I'm gonna leave it
Good.
right there.
That's what I mean, listen, if we ain't talking shit, are we even are we us? I don't know, Kenny. I don't think so.
If we ain't talking shit, we full of shit. That you
There
can
we
put that in
go.
the next journal. Put that in the
Yes,
next journal.
yes, that's gonna be our t-shirt. That's gonna be our t-shirt quote. So y'all connect with Kenny, because we about to talk some actionable shit on this hour. Then our other brother is Gary J. Nix. How are you?
I am good. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to join my compadre right there. We met a few years ago, and we've been doing a bunch of stuff and causing a lot of good trouble. So, happy to be here and spread some more of that.
Damn right. See, I just love them, y'all. I see the comments popping off. We got some love for a group that y'all, if you follow BMC, you know about 100 Roses from Concrete. But I know we have some new people that may be watching us on YouTube or LinkedIn. And I mean, I could talk about it all day. I love 100 Roses from Concrete. One, because my mentee just joined the program, so they have a new cohort, and that is not nepotism. I promise on everything. He
It is.
joined.
Oh, it is.
Listen, just a nudge, nudge. But she's been enjoying the program. It's all about creating, fostering, nurturing, and growing that next generation of talent within the marketing sector. And you see some folks, Heather, my girl, love you, sis. She loves them just as much as us. We got some more people showing love and giving you all your flowers because of all that you all do. So, what's something like new that's happening? Are there any I know you all do a lot of webinars and series coming up. Are there any that we can like support in the interim while people are kind of checking out what's going on?
Yeah, so I mean, in celebration of Pride, I mean, every like cultural month, we try to do at least two things. But one thing that we really love to do is our writers workshop. So our writers workshop is actually happening next week. It's going to be led by K Flex, aka Kristen Collins Jackson. And it's our writers workshops are really a lot of fun because we put out these prompts and we give the participants about 30 minutes to kind of write, like what if Rosa Parks met Bill Gates or met Elon Musk or something like that. And it's a really good time because it definitely promotes poetry and spoken word and just all around writing period, and just kind of flexes those muscles, needless to say, that all of us really have. And it's just a really great community for us to do that. And then we'll have another LGBTQAI plus event on the 27th that we're putting together right now, and it's going to be about the tech space, but also about marketing and PR as well. And Sister Kristen and the crew are putting that together right now. So those are the two things we got coming up for Pride right now. Everyone's obviously welcome to join us. It's always a good time. We in there talking shit, of course, because that's how we do, because we're not full of shit. And yeah, so that's what's happening this month.
I love it. I love it. And then Gary, you're a profound speaker, and just watching you actually I saw you like certain things on LinkedIn, which has made me money. The Black Speakers Collective that you and I are part of. I wouldn't have joined if I didn't see you engaging with the content. But I know you're a speaker and you have a new site, I think, is it? What's kind of cooking up on your
Yeah,
plate?
yeah. So I decided to finally go ahead and do it and have my website. So for a while, I've had my company website in various iterations, and it kind of split the time between what I do for work as a company and what I speak about. So I finally actually made the real separation. My new website, Gary J. Nix, is more about my speaking. Um, and that's the thing. And it just came out in time for, this growth initiative cohort and this summer and the very necessary changes that we still need to see in this industry that people like you, me, and Kenny will not stop working towards until they actually happen.
That's right. Well, hopefully, y'all, hopefully we don't have that much longer. But then again, I don't know. The checks stop flowing if we stop having those issues. So we gonna make sure we massage it out and keep going deeper and deeper to solve those things that we know are deeply rooted within our industry from a systemic level. The work does not stop. So anywho, y'all, to hell with what I gotta say, because this is what about the black men. So I have to stay on this like camera thingy. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm on my own today. I'm like, shoot, where's my producer? But people are busy and I'm gonna hang out. So y'all please ignore my face until I figure these how to put these two on screen by themselves. But what I will say is this. I want to start off with talking this shit. So last time I talked to y'all, it was coming off of George Floyd. It was like everybody's like, oh my God, black men, they do have a voice, they do have emotions. And it was like an awakening that was for me, I'm used to it. But for others, it was like, oh my God, black men have these unique issues too. So without thankfully we haven't had any, we've had police brutality obviously, but we haven't had that George Floyd level of things that happened this year that were public, at least unfortunately. So I guess my question is, since it's not in the public eye as far as the fuckery going on with how the world treats black men, what has had you fucked up this past year since we last talked to Keni? Gary, I know me and you talked. Like, what has really been on your mind that if you had to sound off for a minute and just go in, what would that be about?
Kenny, you want to start off, or you want me to start off?
You can start off, bro. I'm good.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
will answer this, but you start off.
Yeah. So the thing that has got me fucked up is what the future of Twitter is going to look like. Um, I know that there's a lot of people who feel a lot of negative sentiment towards Twitter. Um, Much of it because of how things can go down there. Um, there's also just like the history that the people who started the company and a lot of people who worked there didn't really understand the power, or the power of what they had built. So they didn't understand that it could be weaponized in certain ways, and the fact that they didn't understand even how to explain what it was to people. There's been a lot of issues there. At the same time, I know that I and a lot of people have experienced a lot of good, a lot of connection from that platform, as well as a lot of news, um, a lot of activity, a lot of community, a lot of culture from that platform as well. And with this guy from Tesla, who so many people think is smart, but really can't necessarily point to anything smart that he's done, trying to purchase the platform, that's the thing that's messed me up. I've talked to my friends over there about it. I spoke to my therapist about it. I ranted to my therapist about it. They were like, okay, whoa, okay. I didn't know this was that serious, but okay. But that's the one for me right now. That's the one that I'm keeping my eye on, because regardless of whether people really like that platform or not, there is a certain space that it has in the nexus of success as I have defined it. The nexus being the intersection of technology, media, and culture. Twitter, whether you like it or not, has a home there right now, and if it's going to be interesting at the very least to see what happens when/if the sale gets completed.
Yeah, and that's a great perspective because I did see something about now they're like pushing back on him, and it's like, okay, well, do we? I guess this dance of are we really going to let this sale go through or not? But I think is what's so concerning is, and I think if people that are part of Black Twitter are probably seen this, it's just like, can you just even imagine one person spent more to or proposed to spend more to buy one singular social media platform than what we need to for the first wave of student loan forgiveness by an entire country.
Mhm.
I think the
Yeah, I mean,
number was like 33 billion or something that they wanted to put out or something, but then the Twitter sale was 44 billion, and it's one person compared to a country. I think that is mind boggling. And what does that mean for safe spaces if we already know where this one singular person leans? I think that's a really great oh, that's a great perspective. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts, but
it's a matter of what he can do and what he wants to do. There still is some difference that's actually there. He has a team of people, so his name is on the front of the thing, and he's
right.
proposed to put a lot of money towards it, where he's borrowed from other companies and all types of stuff. But here's the thing about this, at least from the Black Twitter standpoint. One, you can't stop Black Twitter. I don't care how hard you try, because Black Twitter has existed in a whole bunch of different iterations before social media. Period. Like I am an
Right.
old head. I might be the oldest one here, right? Because I'm 48,
Okay. Look,
and
okay.
and I remember in high school the rumors about Big Daddy Kane having a disease that he announced on 2020. This rumor was countrywide. And we know Big Daddy Kane ain't never been on no damn 2020. But stuff like that, like stuff that's strong enough, will get passed along culturally. We see
Right.
how easy it is to happen on these spaces, but the way our community works, it's going to spread no matter what. So
Yeah.
there might be some technical things that we end up, missing out on or whatever, but the community of it is not going to stop. At the same time, understanding how powerful this tool is, which is shown by how big the good things that happen there, such as the proliferation of Black Lives Matter, such as the Arab Spring, um, how big the bad things that happen there,
Right.
how those spread, and the fact that someone is trying to put tens of billions of dollars to buy this platform.
Crazy.
Those are all signals towards how powerful and how important this platform can be.
But and I think that's a good point too. If we even think from a historical context, I love how you said, Black Twitter is not going anywhere, be it on Twitter or other place. I mean, hello, Underground Railroad. If we can do that before, shoes and technology and electricity, if we can create to me, and I'm gonna end on this point because I want to hear what Kenny's fucked up thing is, but if we can think about the Underground Railroad for those that, especially those of us in the South that have gone like to Savannah and things and saw some of the historical context, that was our social media back then to get us from where we were, get us up to where, y'all, especially y'all that family were part of the Great Migration and gone to New York or Chicago, etc. That was our social media. So you can either get with it, like some of them did back then, fight it, we're going to overtake you, but it's going to keep going because we've been had our fingers on the pulse on how to communicate even when people try to cut out our tongues and make us where we can't speak, tell, whip us if we communicate it by written language or anything of that sort. Y'all, I went to New Orleans in March and went to the Whitney Plantation. First of all, I think everybody in America, especially, should go to the Whitney Plantation. It's about 45 minutes from New Orleans. And they talked about, I thought it was interesting as a marketer because we all do communication and things like that in some way in content. And I just thought it was so interesting to hear all the gruesome things that oppressors did to us to stop us from growing our network, to stop us from communicating, to stop us from growing in our knowledge of how we interact in our place in the world. And Gary, I think that's so interesting. It just kind of clicked for me when you were talking. This is not new. Censorship is not new, or control by the majority through financial capital is not new when it comes to diverse voices. So Thank you for sharing that. I don't know. I don't know about y'all. Sound off in the comments. I see one person said he quit already. Lame Elon. All right, Kenny, what about you? What has got you fucked up?
A lot of things have me fucked up. To keep it, a buck with you and my brother Gary. Um, I feel like I'm in like a Groundhog's Day of being fucked up because it's
Mm,
just like like there's no end. I don't even remember when the beginning was. It's like this constant loop, and I think it's a loop because of the aggression towards people of color, women, and definitely it is Pride Month, so I can't forget about our LGBTQ plus brothers and sisters and all our trans folks. But it's just like this constant aggression towards us and hate that just seems to be on like a loop. And yesterday, I see, my brother Alex is on. I sent him a screenshot of something, and as Gary knows, definitely Alex definitely knows. They all know, I'm a super kind of Marvel nerd. But even the hate towards the latest offering of Ms. Marvel, the hate that this superhero is not white, and the hate that this superhero is Muslim already, and the show has barely been out 24 hours. Like,
mm.
that's what's got me fucked up. It's just like, go home, Roger. No one wants to play with you fucking anyway.
Right.
like,
Right. That's
give
real.
it's just amazing how like there's no end. I feel like maybe they hate in shifts, and someone clocks in and another person clocks, one person clocks out, another person clocks in to just kind of continue the cipher of hate. But it's just like, when I saw it in particular to the Ms. Marvel thing, I was just like, do you understand this is a fictional character? Like,
Mm.
literally, this is make believe. This is make believe. And they have their feelings so twisted up and angry about this Muslim, and she happens to be gay too, woman, superhero. It's just like, come on now. Like, that's the type of thing, like, on the daily, that gets me messed up, because it's just like there never seems to be a break in these
Yeah.
tides of hate and aggression towards us. And it's just like, remember, y'all brought us to this motherfucker. Just saying. That maybe that could be on a t-shirt too.
That definitely could be on a t-shirt. But no,
But
it's like they have a hat or something. And they,
hmm
when we say they, it's not just white people. Let's be very clear,
hmm
because somebody challenged me
hmm
on that the other day. They as in
hmm
oppressed people, people that practice the oppression of people that don't look like them. It's like they have a shit. I got a bag right here. It's like they have a bag.
hmm
We are not sponsored by them, so we're not going to do any brand placement. But it's like they have a bag. They put all of our issues, like, all right, put all the black issues in the bucket, y'all. Now let's pick one. Bloop. Let's fuck with
Yeah.
it. All right. They
Yeah.
not done yet, y'all. Pick out another one. Bloop. Let's fuck with it. And it's exhausting. It's
hmm
exhausting. And we have a question that actually will
hmm
segue to something that I wanted to ask y'all. We have a question, and it says, how can we break through the fear that drives the hate? And I think for me, with this question, how I want y'all to think about it is, what would you tell an ally as far as those that are kind of afraid to speak up, or may just not know why or how and what should they say? How do they break
hmm
through that fear, especially in their spaces when they striving through hate? Do y'all have any advice towards that?
Yeah. I mean, I can jump on this first, Gary, if you like. I mean, first, it's like weighing out what the fuck do you have to lose in speaking
Mm,
up, right? Like, to be totally honest with you, because and how do you like sleep at night, and how do you see your reflection in the mirror, knowing that your silence could affect your coworker, maybe your boss, or the person that works under you, or your neighbor, or your kids, friends, parents, whatever the case may be. Like, really think about like the detrimental effects that your silence has, right? that it's a really, really big thing. And that silence, unfortunately, has been very loud because a lot of people are like, well, it's not my problem. No one said it
Mhm.
was your problem. But if you care about me, your probably singular Black friend, imagine what I have to walk around with every day.
Mhm.
So like it's really it's a calculated risk that most
Yeah.
people are afraid to take. But at the end of the day, it's just like you have to live with yourself knowing that we're disenfranchised, misunderstood, undervalued, underpaid, as I said before, misunderstood by your silence. Because basically you're just contributing to it and not trying to, I'm not even going to say protect us, but turn that narrative around.
Yeah, and I think that's the part that, I mean, I've only been Black my whole life, so I can't imagine how
Ain't
does a
it
white
great? Ain't it great though?
I mean, I've only been Black my whole life, but I do think, I have a question for Gary. I would wanna know, what as a Black man, and I'm a Black woman watching Inside Out, I feel like sometimes Black men in white spaces have this like kind of tension within themselves, being, all right, I could just be Black, go to this job or go to this client, whatever, go take my Black ass home to my Black ass family or whatever family you got, no judgment. But I feel like there's this tension between that and then also kind of proving that I'm not a threat. Is that something that you experience with yourself, where, and it may have been maybe in your, since you say you're the oldest, I saw somebody said that he's not the oldest, so thank you very much. But have you felt, because I know y'all do a lot of mentorship around younger Black men, have you felt that tension within yourself of proving I'm kind of a good Negro, so to speak? Okay, because we, the Black Marketers Coalition, we talk our shit. Or, and if you did feel that way, at what point did you say that's not my job? Or do you even,
Okay,
maybe you don't even had that moment. I don't know.
so let me preface it by saying this. I am a 48-year-old Black man born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx. I'm 5'8". I didn't crack 5 feet until 10th grade, and I had to travel from the Bronx to Manhattan with my younger brother on the train. So there is definitely something about me as a person and the societal perception of Black men and the fear that goes around that. I'm also very quiet, and I don't just go around smiling. So people think sometimes that I'm mean or I'm unapproachable or whatever just because I'm quiet. With that being said, depending on how much I bought in to the place where I work, that helps reflect how much I will do and who I will do it for at said company. Honestly, I start with those who look like me in terms of having their backs, speaking up for them. The next level is those who I know rock with me. And I want to go back a little bit to add to Kenny's answer, because one of the things about how to create change, and this is me just going into my strategist mind. That's why I'm a strategist, because it's how I've always thought my entire life. It's not only what do you have to lose, because that's part of it, because a lot of decisions are made based on fear. It's also what do you have to gain. If you saying something going to help create better change? If you think that it will, great. Me personally, I'm more interested in action. One of the reasons why we tend to try to mentor a lot of younger Black folk, because yeah, the organization started with mentoring Black men, but we quickly um, we quickly just said, nope, black people, because we need to, we need to help everybody. What change can we make throughout action? One of the interesting things that happens on social spaces, especially, is that people think, oh, well, I said this thing, so boom, done. Nope. What are you going to do? If you have a position of power or a position of privilege, while I might be interested in what you say, I'm even more interested in what you're going to do. Is what you're going to do help change things? Because if it isn't, take that energy and put it into an action that will. There's so many people who don't understand that they can use whatever level of privilege that they have to make things better. And it's not about making everything better all at once, because it's not realistic. But what can you do to play your part? The hate that we see, statistically speaking, is a minority. It's a very vocal one. It's a very loud one. It's one that's acting up a lot more now, but they are not the majority. Of course, that doesn't mean that we just stop doing things, just let things even out. But what I'm saying is, if we have the majority of people who actually want to do the right things, and people start doing their part to do the right things will start to change for the better.
I just, y'all, I'm over here. When I tell you, I'm just like, yeah, y'all keep talking. Y'all keep talking. I can listen to these two talk all day long because it's so real. And I think that leads me to another thought was, when we talk about doing, or my phrase is do what you can, where you can, when you can, and how you can. When it comes to doing that for Black men, I think that we all just guess instead of asking. Y'all, we try to do all the things, and it's like, if y'all don't just ask what these brothers want. So what does that action look like? Are there organizations that you think that we should support, or is it a certain way we should show up for y'all? Are there even certain myths that we need to like stop saying that shit? Talk to me more about how can we women, Black women, okay, rest in peace Kevin Samuels, but we know what happened there between the the gender wars, right? How can Black women pull up for y'all? How can allies, what, and obviously you all are not a monolith, so would love to hear from both of y'all about what exactly does pulling up for Black men in marketing, what does that mean? Copy, content, employee relations. I just want to hear what's got y'all kind of thinking of action, 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 and what would make that box be checked for y'all.
So I'm a jump out one time and start by saying this specifically to Black women. Y'all ain't got to do more shit at all.
Oh, I like that. We don't have to. We can live soft lives, Gary. That's what you're telling us.
I mean, y'all can live whatever life y'all want, because if it was not for Black women, and I can really only speak from my experience. But I know for me, if it wasn't for Black women, I would not be where I am today. Period. And it's not just because I come from a family with 63 billion women, all but one who have not been a teacher or an administrator, and that one is my 6-year-old niece. But what I'm saying is, Black women been supporting Black men to their detriment sometimes too. So one thing, it's not like, oh, we need more understanding. No. That understanding that we need to look into ourselves and do a better job of understanding ourselves. Ooh. We need to go ahead and do the work that we need to do to be the men that we say we want to be. That's what has to happen. There does need to be some level of listening. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to just shut up, but, and that's not even just for Black women. I think actually that's probably not for Black women actually, but just for allies or co-conspirators or whatever. It's true, you shouldn't just go ahead and guess, but also ask better questions.
Mm.
Once again, strategist hat. Good strategists ask better questions. So it's not just about asking the questions, it's about what kind of questions are you asking. Not not necessarily like one of the issues with people asking black people, how you doing? I can't believe this happened after George Floyd. The reason that's a bad question slash statement is because we done told you this.
Mm.
You done seen it plenty of times before. It's been happening since us black folk were brought here. So we don't need your sympathy.
Mm.
We do need empathy, because empathy is something that should go ahead and make you take an action. But too many people are masking their sympathy as empathy. That's another story. We can talk about that another day. Um, the thing that we need to do a lot for ourselves, and probably just as all black people, be given better opportunity, better understanding of, or not even just better understanding of us. If you see something, and I've seen this happen with a whole lot of black and brown people lately. Oh, the stuff that you do sounds amazing, but we can't seem to figure out how to fit you in. Why can't you? Isn't that your damn job? You're talking about I can bring all these great things, but you can't fit me in. What is it about your limitations that you can't figure out how to fit in this person who is doing a great job, but then you're going to find someone else who's either copying you or doing half the job that you're doing, and you're going to hire them.
Mm.
There's a lot of introspection that so-called allies have to do, because once again, all they're doing is giving lip service. Like I said before, we need the action. And at the same time, black men as a community have to do better action. We need to do a better job of pointing out where we done gone wrong. Because it is something, there's a lot of stuff that we've dealt with that have screwed our minds up, and we don't know how to get out of it. But one, we need to go ahead and figure out how to get help to get out of it. And two, we need to spread that word along to other black men. While the
Yeah.
other people who can't have the power to give us opportunities when we can, go ahead and do that. Ask us where we need help, like you did just now. Do that. Listen to the answer, and if you just someplace you think you can fill in a hole or help out, go ahead.
And you bring up a good point. I was over here making sure I had the name right. Y'all remember that show LeBron James had on HBO, The Shop? I think it was HBO Max,
Mhm.
and it was all him. I love that show because it created a space for black men to talk about their things, and nobody else could respond besides other black men. And as a black woman, I do love our spaces for black women. Hello, I'm in a sorority, right? But I do feel like one, what I loved is that, hey, there's some work we have to do on our own, which, yeah, no more, no broke or broken men in 2022 for y'all that follow me on my personal pages, right? So I definitely agree with that as a single black woman, right? But I do as a professional one, though, I think that the introspection, that's the part that any of our communities, any of our marginalized communities, we lose out on. And sometimes we are so used to being held down by other people, we don't know when we're holding ourselves down. And I talked about this in January. I talked about self-deprecating behavior and to stop it. 2022, we're not doing that. And because I'm not saying to get help, you have to have it together. I don't believe in that notion. But I do believe to be able to receive help, you have to be in a place to receive it. It's if you're super fucked in the head, right? About whatever these things are in life, in society, and you are rightfully, able to be fucked up in the head about it. But if you don't seek that help to be able to clear your mind, somebody can lay out your solution right in front of you, right on your lap, but you're not going to be able to receive it. And so I think that that's something, be it, and Kenny, you talked about this last year. We were talking about what, helps you clear your mind. And you were talking about, you picked up running and how for you that helped you go through your mental process to deal with what was going on within Black America, taking care of your family, figuring out your business. So with your with running and you doing that introspective work and that work to do it the way Keni needs to do it, do you find that alignment with Gary's answer? Have anything to add from it on how y'all can pull up for yourselves, but how we can
Yeah.
also pull up for y'all?
Yeah. Well, I always have something to add to, the genius, which is Gary J. Nix. And what I would just like to add is that we need to stop ignoring the trauma that's experienced by Black men, Black women, and especially by our Black trans brothers and sisters out there. Because by ignoring it, it will not go away. Instead, we need to acknowledge it, understand it, and actually truly be what the definition of ally is, but not just be ally in title, but be an active ally. Because we have too many allies in title alone. And to me, it's like we don't need that. We need actually active allies. And you can be an active ally by actually listening to what this Black pain is, but also understand this Black pain did not start with the three of us, right? It did not start with everyone that's attending this call today, right? This is something that will outlive us and started way before us. But being that active ally, that's where the actual pulling up and showing up for us and showing out really happens, right? So it's about enough is enough with the ignoring the trauma or just be like, oh my God, that's so bad. But like really like just getting your hands dirty and trying to understand like how do we create better spaces for these groups of people that still, regardless of what happens tonight, this weekend, tomorrow morning, whatever time of day, all this craziness happens, that realizing that we still have to show up to work and still be 10 times better than some of our counterparts. And even within showing up to be that 10 times better, we need to have, and I'm not gonna speak for all Black men, but we need spaces where men of color can show up and be their true selves, right? Can be their true selves with no judgment. Because, and I'll speak about my own experience, even when I was on the agency side, there were many, many days, and I probably, called Gary crying about it or had a drink with Gary crying about it, of me feeling like I had to shrink myself to be a part of these spaces. And in the process of shrinking myself, found myself developing imposter syndrome. I know people bring up imposter syndrome all the time because the shit is motherfucking real. Like it's not Mickey Mouse. It's like it's something that's actually real. So we need these spaces where, and like I said before, I can only speak for men of color. I'm not going to speak for all of them, but we need spaces where they can be their true selves, because you have to understand when someone's suffering from imposter syndrome and shrinking themselves to fit inside of a workplace, they're not giving you their 100% creative output. This is just the fucking math, yo. Imagine if they were able to bring their true selves to work, right? And how much better that work would be, but also if you had that respect of their journey and how they choose to create in whatever form that is, right? Just imagine if we want to talk about money, imagine the ROI from that. Imagine that. We would be able to start 10 companies.
And here's the thing, that a lot of people outside of our communities can't imagine that, what that looks like, because they try to take it all the time.
Ooh.
Dang.
So I got a question though about creating these spaces, because marketing with Black marketers, a lot of our groups, there's like several Black marketers groups, right? And including my own, it's very woman heavy when it comes to engagement. And I'm like, am I missing the mark? Like, is there something I need to do? What does, if you had your ultimate networking event, what would that look like? I'm talking about it. You could talk about food, music, vendors. What would some of those things look like? Because I think as an industry, all of us that that are women that are founding these groups for, you know, besides like a few of the male groups. Most of the groups are women founded. Most of the boards are women. And I know, you know, especially as Pride Month, gender is a spectrum. So whatever that means for you, okay? Masculine, we're talking about masculine energy here, right? What would that look like if you walked in and you was like, man, this is the shit, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna tell everybody about it?
Shameless plug, like 100 roses from concrete. Sorry, go ahead, Kenny.
All right, 100 roses from concrete. I'm here for it.
Well, I had a joke, right? So when I was at South by Southwest back in March, I attended this Black Founders kind of meetup, and of the attendance, 20% of the attendees were Black. 20%. I was just like, okay. Fuck I'm gonna do here, you know. 20%. It was a Black Founders. It was by I think Inc. Magazine had it, but if it wasn't Inc. Magazine, please forgive me. But it was a Black Founders meetup, and 20% of the founders there were Black. I was just like, well, okay, I'm gonna, you know, have this free drink and eat this taco and, you know, go to the Latinx house, which was lit, by the way. But like if I was to think of a dream networking scenario, and it's actually very hard, and I think Gary knows this about me because we've been friends for several years. I actually personally hate networking. And surprise to anybody on the call, but I actually hate networking. Like I fucking hate networking.
That anxiety starts to get your heart beat, and it's like, all right, I gotta do it.
It's just like, you know, like I really, really hate it. But the and maybe this makes me weird, or maybe I'm giving bad advice now, and you know, forgive me. But the thing about me is that if I am at a networking event, which, you know, has been a long time now because we all been home, but like if someone approaches me, I will open up like a flower, but I'm not the one to approach anybody. And I don't know, call it my ego, or maybe it's not my ego. Maybe I'm just afraid to approach people. But like, I just have a really big thing with approaching people. Like, hey, my name is Keni Thacker, and blah, blah, blah. Nope. I'll just stand there and sip my, you know, vodka tonic and call it a day, and maybe hopefully they got some good hors d'oeuvres or whatever. But other than that, like I cannot. But if someone approaches me, then I'll open up and, you know, I'll tell you everything except for my address. Like I'll open up like a flower.
Might actually ask you. You know, that's always the weird thing. I don't know if y'all have it in New York, but I would imagine in Atlanta, people are like, "Oh, where do you live?" I'm like, "The fuck, are you gonna show up? Like, stop asking me that shit." Especially in the agency. Where, oh my god, do you live in Buckhead? No, bitch. And if I did, but I love that approach. I'm hearing this. Approach us. We may, and Gary talked about being quiet. It may be just as simple as you see a Black man, don't be weird and be like, Black man, I'm gonna go find him, because I'm sure y'all get that too. But just genuinely, hey, you know, I'm Sequoia, very nice to meet you, would love to chat with you for a couple seconds, and just go into it. I think that I saw it in London. So I went to a conference, and I think actually the last time I was on, we did, if you know, I was in London, and Giovanni hosted for me. And I learned about networking styles being different internationally. And of the few Black men that were there, they did look a little more comfortable than I had seen in the States. But I learned in London, it is more of, you don't disrupt anybody. You just don't just be like, oh, hey, aggressive. You wait till that kind of mutual eye contact, and then you walk up and you start that conversation. It outside in from an observation standpoint, the Black men that were there that I had observed at another conference in the states, it just seemed a little more natural, so to speak. But so that's just my 2 cents. But Gary, I have a question for you, since Keni answered that one. I'm going to ask you a specific one, and this is not a paid endorsement at all. You got the beard going, you know, you got the glasses. Let's talk about merch. what if people are trying to reach y'all and make y'all feel appreciated at these events? Are there certain brands or products that you're like, yeah, we need more to see more of that you would want to shout out?
So a brand that I will shout out forever, is Bevel.
Yes, 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 yes. I got some
You
of
know,
that in the
that's a
bathroom.
brand that I will shout out
Me
forever.
too. Me too. Me too.
Um,
Yes.
but
Why
I think
Bevel?
also Bevel, I was introduced to them through some quite black ass podcasts that I listened to, and they would one of the things that got me saying, you know what, I'm gonna try them out, is they work, they did these commercials with these podcasts, and it felt to me like their approach were like, we're gonna, let's do the sponsorship thing. We're gonna give you like talking points to make sure that you hit whatever else your commercial wants to be. Just let it be. One of the podcasts I listened to, one of the hosts of it, she sometimes went off the rails. It was part of the whole gag of the show and stuff. And in one commercial, she meowed. Promo cat became a thing with Bevel, right? There was this other one that was just would take whatever's happening at the time and kind of infuse it into that ad. When brands start to figure out where they might fit or where they might want to fit, and they don't take themselves so seriously because they understand that while they have some say on what the definition of their brand is, they're not the only ones. It's a collaborative process. And let that rock. And it's like we want to be part of the community. Those types of brands are the ones that I rock with. It also helped that it was actually created um, with the issues that black men have when they're shaving in mind,
Yeah.
right? So that feature, great feature. Not why I bought it. I bought it because they understood where they tried to be in the community. They're like, we want to be a part of this, and this is way before Target said we need to go and start order selling you in our store,
Right.
right? So in terms of what brands that have that attitude,
Yeah.
brands that respect the community for one, two, have some level of understanding on where they fit within the culture of that community, and three, want to understand how to be a part of that culture and not claim they are the culture like some brands do.
Hmm. That's listen for all of y'all trying to figure out what do these black men need. They just told y'all. And the thing is, what I love about these conversations with you guys is that y'all are approachable. Shout out to 100 Roses from Concrete and all the things y'all are doing to put yourselves out there. Because what I love about y'all two in particular and the brands you represent or have founded is that you do create two-way dialogue. So y'all take advantage of it. Stop guessing because the brothers got something to say, but you have to, we talk about DEI all the time, getting invited to the table, getting invited to the dance. Are you doing this? Are you doing that? So I'm going to jump into, because I know we only have a few more minutes, but I want to jump into a couple questions, lightning fast, because I want to see what y'all have to say. So we got some questions from the audience. Speaking of brands, and since Juneteenth is upon us, I'd love to hear you all's thoughts around. Oh, she's shaking the table around companies and brands creating performative limited edition ice cream, candles, Vaseline, and more. Sound off. I see
I
some.
gotta
I
leave
just
this to
Um,
Gary.
table.
I ain't saying that.
all right, so as a brand strategist, I thought about this stuff for a very long time, and some of the answers I might have might not be well received in the first place, but I'm gonna be real with you. So, in terms, okay, let me start here. One, for businesses, celebratory holidays they're always going to try to monetize those every single time, right? There's two big issues with the Walmart stuff. One, Walmart does not have the trust of the community to be able to do some of these things. They work very hard to not get the trust of the community, absolutely. But Juneteenth ice cream is not as bad as it feels. It's not good, but it's not as bad as it feels. The most egregious thing was that damn TM next to Juneteenth and them trying to trademark it. That was the worst thing about it. Okay? Realistically. But Walmart does a bunch of things wrong, so we don't give them any grace or faith because they haven't earned it yet. So their attempts at Juneteenth ice cream, which could have, because I'm going to give the general benefit of the doubt. Not that I necessarily believe that they had good hearts in doing so, but what happens is, if you think about whether you would like to have some sort of Juneteenth commemorative ice cream or not, as opposed to Walmart doing it, you start to think about things deeper. And that's part of it. Like the backlash was going to be automatic. And part of the backlash from my standpoint is because I've talked to no less than 15 people who worked on Walmart business, and they talk about how terrible they are. So with that in your head, anything that they do, even if they figured out how to try to do something somewhat correctly, it's not going to come off good because you don't have the faith in them. Right?
Right.
There's going to be places that they will genuinely try and they will genuinely mess up because they have not put enough work in to gather the grace and faith necessary for it to be seen as a mistake. They have a very far way to go. And I bring that up because companies need to understand that specifically. Because what happens a lot of times in the apology, we didn't mean to do anything. We're sorry if we offended. Our intentions were blah, 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 blah. And then people start talking about, well, intentions. They take the saying that intention doesn't negate impact and make it that intention doesn't matter. However, that's not true, because if the intention didn't matter, you wouldn't be so mad. But on the other side of that, if you intend to do the right thing and you truly intend to do the right thing, you will, by your intention, continue to try to do the right thing until you get it right. So we're going to see a whole lot of mistakes from those who are just trying to profit off of it and those who are actually trying to do well, because business as a whole is centuries behind on what they need to do.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of mistakes. And I'm not telling you who you should give your grace and faith to. I'm saying that you should watch. When the George Floyd murder happened, I just went on, did a video on Facebook that got picked up by Ad Age. So it's like, don't worry, we're going to be watching you. Oh, you're making promises now? Everyone's at home and everyone's seeing your promises? Okay. You done said it. You done put yourself in a position now. So, okay, understand everybody's watching. And a lot of that anger is because everybody is watching now. And a lot of these places have not gone ahead and brought in the type of people who actually understand all the working parts of things, right? A lot of companies do not understand. One of the reasons why I have my company and I talk so much about culture is because cultural intelligence is a direct path towards maximizing your revenue, but nobody wants to talk about that.
Right. And
you need to understand. You need to understand the people and the communities within, and the cultures within those communities, in order to connect with people. Because our job is not to sell; it's to connect.
And simply put, hire Black. I mean, hello. A lot of this stuff can be avoided by hiring the various types of Black, not just the Black that you think is here, but various types to understand. And I mean, I'm a researcher, y'all, so we test into cultural sentiments and ethnographic research, etc. So to avoid these things, you know?
I totally agree with that point. However, there still needs to be certain points in here, because there is definitely a world wherein the idea for Juneteenth ice cream was submitted by one or a group of Black people. The execution is where things could have messed up as well.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, how many white people are actually thinking, oh, well, we're going to do Juneteenth ice cream? Not a lot.
See, we gotta get
They're
a
not.
case.
They're not.
We
They're,
gotta
they're,
find some people from Walmart. Like, hey, let me do a quick case study on this. Who done it? But y'all, we're at time. Like, I'm like,
okay.
Kenny, I was like, shoot, I did want to ask one last question. But maybe we'll ask it. Well, I'll ask it because we're just gonna go over 1 minute. Quick question for you.
Yep.
Father's Day is
Mm-hmm.
coming up. Every year we have this issue with the Black Father's Day cards. You are a father, so happy
Mm-hmm.
early Father's Day. Gary, I can't remember if you're a dad or not.
He's a
Okay,
cool
so
ass uncle.
cool ass
He's the
uncle, happy
coolest
Father's Day,
uncle.
'cause uncles hold it down. But do we
Mm-hmm.
hold that same space and that same thought about Hallmark and the mahogany? Are you familiar with that? And every year people get pissed off about the single mom Father's Day cards and why the black cards got happy Father's Day moms and the white cards don't. Have you heard of that?
Nah, actually, this is the first. I mean, maybe because I don't buy a lot of cards because I'm a bad person. But nah,
Well,
that would skip me.
okay, well, what we'll do is because I do want to be respectful of everybody's lunchtime. We're gonna continue that conversation on LinkedIn because it's gonna come up again. I'm just ready for it,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna see. We'll have our social media lead create some polls out there because I want to continue this conversation regarding the actual content that y'all need to
Mm-hmm.
attract, celebrate Black men and uplift Black men. So
Mm-hmm.
y'all, it is it's just I'm over here smiling. Y'all got me up out of bed. This has been a great call. Audience, thank you for showing up and showing out. Thanks for your vulnerability to our wonderful Black men in marketing, Keni Thacker, Gary J. Nix. Check those fellas out. And until next time, y'all, we will catch y'all. You got all your roses showing up. Thanks
For
all the
sure.
people from 100 Roses from Concrete for showing up. We appreciate y'all as always. Until next time, see y'all in July, first Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to buy your journals. Don't forget to check us out and our guest
Get
out
them
on LinkedIn
journals.
and
Get them
Instagram.
journals.
See, you hear it, and
Cop
Kenny, I'll make
them.
sure you get your journal as well. And thank you for your contributions over the years, Gary. Thank you, and I'll see y'all later, fam. Talk to y'all later.
Later, y'all.